Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're making protein chocolate pudding with bone broth. So this protein pudding has no protein powder, no cornstarch, and I'm using my favorite secret ingredient to add protein into dishes, which is bone broth. This dreamy and silky chocolate pudding is quick and easy to make, and it's made with real food ingredients. Let me show you guys how to make it. So first we're going to add our gelatin into a large mixing bowl. Now I'm using gelatin in place of protein powder in this chocolate pudding because it's a natural thickener and it's also a natural source of protein. So next we're going to add a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream right over the gelatin. Then I'm going to take a fork and mix it up immediately. And now this is not the traditional method of blooming gelatin. And this is why I do it differently. I have taught so many people how to make marshmallows when I had my bake shop for over a decade where we were blooming gelatin pretty much every single day. And I found that doing the traditional method of sprinkling gelatin over cold liquid almost always resulted in clumps. But if you stir it up immediately, you're going to get rid of those clumps right away. So that's why I always do this method, as it's basically foolproof. So first we're going to separate 3 large eggs because we only need the egg yolks. So I have a little Tupperware here and I like to save the egg whites. Don't throw them away because you can use them in things like French macaroons, meringues, or you can even add them into your morning scramble. And you can even cook them up as a little food topper for your dog. So add your egg whites into your Tupperware and the egg yolks into a medium mixing bowl. Store these in the fridge. So go ahead and set your egg yolks aside. Now we're just going to grab a 3-quart pot. So first we're going to add 1 cup of beef bone broth. And you guys want to make sure you're using a plain bone broth. Don't use like a flavored one, like stay away from a turmeric or a mushroom. You just want to be using a plain. And if you can't get beef, you can also use chicken. I just always use kettle and fire, and I feel like their beef is a little bit more neutral flavored, where the chicken has a little bit more of like an onion flavor. So I don't normally choose that whenever I'm using bone broth for baking. Next, we're going to add 1 cup of whole milk. Next, we're going to add 113 grams of cane sugar, and then 43 grams of Dutch cocoa powder. And now you guys want to make sure you're using Dutch cocoa powder and not natural in this. The bone broth is going to give us a little bit of a salty, savory kind of aspect, so we just want to make sure we're using Dutch cocoa powder because it's on the sweeter side compared to natural. If you guys use natural, this pudding could be like a little bit more bitter. So now we're going to put this over low to medium heat and heat until the sugar and cocoa are completely combined with the milk and the bone broth. This is only going to take a few minutes and you want to make sure that you don't burn the milk. So I recommend using a drink thermometer and heating to 140 degrees. This is going to ensure that you don't burn the milk. If you guys don't have a drink thermometer, you just want to make sure that you don't let this boil, because if the milk boils, then it will burn, and that burnt flavor will then transfer into your pudding. So once the mixture has reached 140 degrees and everything is combined, we're going to remove it from the heat. Then you want to go ahead and grab a measuring cup. We're going to add about half of this liquid, which is going to be about 1 cup, into the egg yolks. But we're going to do this slowly while we're whisking the egg yolks the entire time. This step is super important because it's going to allow the egg yolks to kind of warm without cooking them immediately if we were to just dump them into the hot liquid. So we don't want to do that. So we're kind of bringing these egg yolks up to temperature in a slow way. And you guys can kind of just eyeball the cup. I just have a half cup here. I'm going to do this like 2 times. Now we're going to take this egg and milk mixture and put it back into the pot. Now we're going to take our gelatin mixture and add it into the pot with everything else, and then we're going to whisk to combine it completely. And now when the gelatin mixture goes in, it's going to be kind of clumpy, and that's okay. We're just going to whisk this until everything seems to be combined. If you have a few little chunks, that's okay because this is about to go back on the heat. Now we're going to put this back on the heat over low to medium heat. We're just gonna simmer this and whisk for about 5 minutes. This is gonna let the mixture reduce just a little bit. Don't worry, it won't be noticeably thick at this stage. So once the pudding mixture comes off the heat, now it's time to add in the butter. And then you just want to whisk it together to combine it completely. And next we're going to add in some ground vanilla bean. And now I love using ground vanilla bean instead of vanilla extract, especially when making chocolate desserts. This is because it's a little bit more true and pure vanilla flavor, so it's just going to add a little bit more depth of flavor. If you guys don't have vanilla bean, you can feel free to use vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract too. And last, we're adding in a 1/4 cup of crème fraîche, and this is going to give it a really creamy and dreamy mouthfeel. Once everything is combined, now it's time to transfer it to a large mixing bowl so it can chill in the fridge. So now you want to get a piece of plastic wrap. But instead of just covering the bowl, we want to make sure that we take the plastic wrap and push it down so it's touching the pudding completely. This is going to help a film from forming. Now it's time to let this set in the fridge.